Give it up for Mr. Brian Patterson!
David said as he was about to meet Goliath that this very day the whole world would know that there is an extraordinary God. David knew that God was able to do extraordinary things, and nothing God ever did was more extraordinary than to send Jesus Christ. First, consider Jesus. He was the extraordinary one. His conception was extraordinary. He was born of the Virgin Mary. The Holy Spirit overshadowed her, and she gave birth to the Savior of the world. His birth was extraordinary. The Son of God was at any place on earth, but he chose to be born in among animals. Not many people were there, but I bet they all knew that they were witnessing something extraordinary. His life was extraordinary. He fed thousands of people with 2 loaves of bread and a couple of fish. He saw the sick and the lame, and the Bible says that he healed them all. He was pretty bad with the public relations. He hung out with sinners and drove the religious people crazy, but he didn't care. He knew what God said him to do, and he was going to do it. His death was extraordinary. The people who killed him supposedly dedicated their lives to God's purpose, yet they inflicted the most excruciating death on their Creator. The old song says that he could have called down thousands of angels, set them free, and destroyed the world, but he did something even more extraordinary. He said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." The only thing that kept him there was love. Extraordinary, incredible love. His resurrection was extraordinary. His followers went to the tomb, filled with mourning, and the angel said to them, "Why do you seek me amongst the living and among the dead? He's not there. He has risen, just as he said." He's the only one who had ever outlived his own powers. He didn't just outlive the Roman emperor, he outlived the Roman Empire. The people who mocked him are gone, but he still lives, and nothing has ever been the same since he walked out of that tomb. Secondly, he lives on. Jesus was extraordinary, and he did extraordinary things in the lives of everyone that he came in touch with. Consider the Apostle Peter. He became an extraordinary apostle, and when thousands of souls to his very first sermon. The Bible says that many miraculous things were done by the apostles. It says that so many things were done that they practically turned the world upside down. The text that we began with was made by David as he was about to meet Goliath, and moments after he said that this very day the whole world would know that there is an extraordinary God. Goliath lay dead at his feet. The Hebrew writer said, "What more shall I say? I do not have time to tell about Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, David, Samuel, and the prophets. They all started off as pretty ordinary, but they did extraordinary things because they trusted an extraordinary God." Third, we need extraordinary things right now. It's great to read about people who did extraordinary things like David and Peter. But what about people right now, like you and me? This is a story about a young girl called Kate. Kate recently attended a service where my Uncle Philip came and was preaching. She wore away because of the chemotherapy that had treated her for cancer. At 16 years old, Kate was dying. Also in that service one night were some young girls from Moldova who live in a place my Uncle Philip's ministry operates called Stella's House. Stella's House cares for girls in Moldova at risk from human traffickers who sell them into prostitution. Most of the girls at Stella's House were Kate's age, and she was greatly touched by their heart-wrenching stories. A little while later, Kate's mom called my Uncle Philip. She had a car, and she wanted to sell it and give all the money to Stella's House. This was a dying girl, and with eternity coming towards her, she saw so clearly and wanted to give into the lives of others halfway around the world. Just a couple weeks ago, there was another call. Kate had lost her battle with cancer. After she died, they found a little piece of paper on which Kate had written from my individual. I have a copy of it right here. Just a couple weeks ago, Kate left instructions that not only her car, but her laptop, her Nintendo DS, and some of the other things were to be sold and the money given to Stella's House. No one would have blamed Kate for being angry, but she had been changed by the extraordinary love of Jesus Christ, and she poured out that love in her girls halfway across the world. In conclusion, Jesus is the extraordinary one, and the only thing he needs to do extraordinary things are ordinary people like Kate and like you and me.
Mm-hmm.